Have you ever felt like you've been circling the same mountain over and over, waiting for the right time, waiting for the perfect sign, waiting for life to finally line up? Maybe you've whispered to yourself, "Someday I'll do it. Someday I'll step into my calling." But let me ask you, how many somedays have already slipped through your fingers? I want you to picture this. You're standing on the edge of a brand new season. Behind you are the sleepless nights, the disappointments, the unanswered questions. But in front of you, a door. And it's not just any door. It's the one you've been praying for. This video isn't about theory. It's about you, your moment, your final step. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll see why waiting is over and why your yes could unlock everything. 1. The wake-up call. Stop waiting. Start moving. Let me ask you something. How many times have you told yourself, "Someday, I'll start. Someday, I'll change. Someday, I'll finally live the life I was meant to live"? But let's be honest. How many of those some days have already slipped away? How many New Year's resolutions died by February? How many dreams are still sitting quietly in your journal, never stepping into the real world? Here's the hard truth. Someday is a sweet little lie. It makes you feel safe today, but it steals the blessing God has already prepared for you. Opportunity doesn't live in tomorrow. It only lives in this very moment. And if you keep waiting for perfect conditions, you'll never begin. The moment is now, not someday. Look at your own life. How many times have you thought, "When I'm more ready, then I'll move"? But the truth is, there will never be a day when you feel fully ready. An athlete doesn't wait until they're strong to start training. An entrepreneur doesn't wait until they've got every dollar lined up before launching. They begin in the middle of their weakness, their lack, their imperfections, and that's exactly what takes them further than they imagined. Trials. We're training, not punishment. Maybe you've been thinking, "But I've tried before and failed. Why would God let me walk through such painful trials?" Listen, your trials are not punishment. They're training grounds for your spirit. Think about Joseph in the Bible. His own brothers sold him. He was thrown into prison, betrayed, forgotten. But in the end, what others meant for harm, God used for good. Joseph became second in command of Egypt and saved an entire nation. And even today, look at entrepreneurs who lost everything, went bankrupt, carried heavy debt. Those painful lessons became the very foundation for their comeback, teaching them resilience, strategy, and wisdom they could never have learned otherwise. The lesson? Your trials don't prove you're abandoned. They prove you're being trained for something bigger. Fear is the signal, not the enemy. Another thing that holds you back is fear. You think, "If I'm scared, maybe I should stop." But the truth is, fear isn't a red light. It's a signal you're stepping towards something that actually matters. Remember David facing Goliath. He wasn't fearless. He was faithful enough to step forward anyway. And you? That trembling in your chest, the quickening of your breath, that nervous energy when you think about taking the next step, don't mistake it as weakness. It's proof you're standing on the edge of something extraordinary. Faith without action is dead. But here's the key. Faith alone isn't enough. Faith without action is like a seed never planted. It has potential, but no harvest. Think about the woman in Scripture who pressed through the crowd just to touch the hem of Jesus' garment. She didn't sit back and wait for the miracle to come to her. She stepped out, and her action unlocked her healing. Faith is the seed. Action is the water. And only then does God bring the increase. The biggest enemy, excuses. And maybe the biggest enemy in your life isn't fear or failure. It's excuses. You've told yourself, I'm not ready. I don't have enough. I'm not enough. But remember, even Moses said the same thing. He argued with God, saying he couldn't speak well. And God simply answered, Go, I will help you. Here's the truth. If you wait until you're perfect, you'll still be waiting when you're 90. You don't need perfection. You just need obedience. The lesson. Waiting for perfect conditions will rob you of the blessing meant for you. Trials are not punishment. They're preparation. Fear isn't the enemy. It's a signpost. And excuses? They're the chains holding you back. The right time is not someday. The right time is right now. So here's the question. Once you've realized someday is a lie, how do you actually begin? How do you take that first step when you still feel unqualified, underprepared, and unsure? That's where we're headed next. The final step. How to step boldly into your destiny. Now that you've woken up to the truth that someday is a lie, the real question is, how do you actually step forward? Inspiration is powerful, but without direction, it fades. So let's talk about the final step, how you can boldly walk into your destiny, starting right now. Stop looking at the clouds, plant the seed. Now. The book of Ecclesiastes says, Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap. That's exactly what many of us do. We keep looking for the perfect condition before we plant our seed. Picture an American dreamer who spends 3 years researching how to start a business, reading books, watching videos, taking endless notes, but never actually launches. By the time they're ready, the opportunity has already passed. The lesson? Preparation matters, but over-preparation can become procrastination. Don't get stuck studying the soil. Plant the seed today. Take imperfect action. Abraham's lesson. Abraham stepped out without knowing where he was going. That's faith in action. In modern times, think of startup founders. They don't wait until the product is flawless. They launch an MVP, a minimum version, and improve it along the way. The common mistake? Waiting until you have enough money, enough skills, enough people. But the truth is, you'll never have enough before you begin. What you really need is courage. Imperfect action beats perfect delay every single time. Failure versus regret. Which is heavier? Let's be honest. Failure hurts. Nobody enjoys falling short. But you know what hurts more? Regret. Peter stepped out of the boat, and yes, he began to sink. But at least he walked on water, even if just for a moment. Imagine being one of the other disciples, sitting in the boat, forever wondering what it would have felt like to take that step. So I'll ask you, would you rather taste temporary failure or carry lifelong regret? Failure is temporary. Regret is permanent. Your dream is a God-sized seed. Here's another truth. If your dream doesn't scare you, it's too small. Elon Musk was laughed at when he talked about colonizing Mars. People called him crazy. And maybe your dream isn't about rockets or space travel, but it's still a God-sized seed planted in you. The mistake many people make is shrinking their dream down to something safe. They say, let me aim smaller so I won't be disappointed. But listen, God didn't design you for safe. He designed you for impact. Dream big, then take the steps, one at a time, to nurture that seed. The unknown is the canvas for miracles. Let's face it, what holds most of us back is the unknown. We don't know what's on the other side of the door, so we freeze. But the unknown isn't your enemy. It's the very place where miracles happen. Abraham didn't know his destination, yet God met him along the way. And right now, you might be at a crossroads. staring at uncertainty. But what feels like fog to you is actually God's canvas, ready for Him to paint something new. Do not quit. Your harvest is waiting. Here's the part nobody likes to hear. Breakthrough often comes right after the moment you feel like quitting. Think about an Olympic athlete. They train for 10 years just to perform for 10 seconds on the world stage. Most people would have given up long before, but that's the difference between a dreamer and a champion. Too many of us walk away just one step before the harvest. Don't let that be your story. The call to action, your yes, unlocks heaven's response. So here we are. You've heard the truth. You know someday is a lie. You know excuses can't hold you anymore. Now the final step is yours. This is your moment. Don't just listen. Decide. Type the number 99 in the comments as your declaration. I'm not lost. I'm found. Hit subscribe, not just as a button click, but as your action of faith, saying you're part of a community of people who are stepping boldly into their God-given destiny. One decision, one step, one yes. That's all it takes to unlock what heaven has already prepared for you. So, chosen one, take a moment to breathe this in. What we talked about today isn't just theory. It's your life, your walk, your battles. And maybe, while you were listening, something inside you stirred. A memory, a confirmation, or even a quiet nudge from God. If that happened, don't keep it inside. Share it below. I'd love to hear how this speaks to you. And when you write it, know that others who read it may find the exact encouragement they were searching for. If this message carried something you needed, stay close. There's more to uncover together, one step, one whisper at a time.